Hi everybody. Okay, this is terrible. That's more like it. Hey guys. How are you guys doing? Today I wanted to talk about gender because it's a really complex topic and it's a very personal thing for everybody. Everybody's gender experience is different, and I wrote out a lot of notes that I wanted to talk about. I wrote down a lot of stuff, pages, you guys. Before we get into that, I hit 70,000 subscribers, which is so cool. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and vibing with what I do. I really appreciate it. This is only the beginning, and I love doing the ASMRs, but I like doing this kind of stuff too. This kind of stuff, I really like this kind of stuff. I wish this stuff got more views. But I want to talk about gender. I am someone who has never fit into a gender box ever since I was a baby. Since I was a baby, you guys. My mom would dress me in full blue and strangers would be like, she's beautiful. Like, I swear to God, I'm not, like, I mean, I don't remember this, just, this is what she told me, but I've never fit into a gender box. When I was a kid, I was just a girl. Like, I was just a girl when I was a kid. Like, I just had long hair, I was super pretty, you know what I mean? Like, I was just a girl. For some reason in like 4th grade, I was like, I'm a boy now, and then I started like being a boy. I don't know why I did that. This is like itching my armpit. There's like a... I think that was because of shame. I think I was ashamed. I don't know, because I did want to be a boy, but it was a very deliberate, like, it was a very, like, I'm a boy now. I don't know what was going on with me, whatever. I was, like, gay. Like, by like, 5th grade, I was gay. Like, I was gay in 5th grade. Like, 5th grade roll around. 5th grade is, like, the age. How old are you in 5th grade? I think that you are, like, 10 and 11, right? No, you're, like, 11 and 12. That's when, if you're gay, you can tell. Because before that, if you're like a boy and you're like kind of gentle and sweet and you like Hannah Montana, that's just like, you're just a kid. You know what I mean? You're just like a kid. Once you're like 12 and you're like, you still like Hannah Montana and you still play with dolls and you're still very sweet and gentle, now you're gay. You know what I mean? And everybody knows it. I didn't know I was gay until puberty, but I thought, like, everybody in my life thought I was gonna grow up to be like a transgender woman when I was a kid. Like, my parents were fully prepared for me to come out as like a trans woman, but I'm not trans. I identify as gender fluid, I guess, but that's, for me, that's based on my gender presentation. It has to do with the way that I look. For me, I feel like my gender is fluid because I express my gender and I present my gender differently based on how I'm feeling. Sorry if the camera angle is changing. I'm like still, I should have done this before I started. This chair is squeaky, you guys. Okay, sorry. I'm like all over the place. I made some tea to kind of like ground myself. Look at this mug. Look at this 2014 fucking mug, you guys. I got this at Ross. I got this at Ross. I got this at Ross. You'll need to go to Ross. Okay? That's kind of my experience with gender. That's a very like, well, then in high school, okay, that's the basis of it. You get the gist. I don't resonate with a lot of like the gender conversations happening in the queer community. And you'd think that I would, since I've never fit into a gender. Like, you'd think that I would really vibe with a lot of what everybody's saying. And I did for a while. I've been heavily involved in gender discourse since I was like 11, I would say. But I don't resonate with a lot of what everybody is talking about. And I feel like the logic people use when talking about gender, like when queer people talk about gender, I feel like the logic that we use, it's just like, it's like deeply flawed. And there's so many gaps in the like conversation. And I think it's because we're trying to like infiltrate gender. I think we're trying to like come in there and like try to like make, also my hair is different, sorry. I cut my hair. Get used to it. We're trying to like create space for ourselves and each other within gender, right? We're trying to like, you know, go around and share our pronouns, and we're trying to like, you know, oh, I'm this gender, oh, she's this gender, oh, they're this gender, you know what I mean? Like, and I just don't think that's like the path to go on. I think that the whole gender labeling whole thing that we do here in America, the West, that's where I live, that's where I'm, you know, coming at this from. It's like not supposed to include people like me or possibly you. It's not supposed to include us. It was designed to exclude us, but we're trying to like reframe it to include us, but it was never supposed to. include us. Like, something I find so fascinating about gender is the way that not every culture has viewed gender as like boy, girl, male, female, man, woman. That's absolutely like not the whole world. That is the Western world and probably other places. But like, if you look at places that were colonized by fucking England, piece of shit place, right? When you look at places like, let's take like India and Hawaii, for example, those places had space for transgender and gender non-conforming people in their cultures before colonization, but after colonization, they don't really. Like, particularly in India, hijras, right, are a third gender type of person, and they play a very important role in Hindu traditions. Like, they'll bless a baby, a newborn baby, they'll like hijras will bless the baby because they have like this blessing power because they're so fierce and cunty. Or like they'll bless a marriage. But after India was colonized by England, hijras like are impoverished and they are highly discriminated against in terms of housing and employment. They live in poverty because of the West. Because the West came in, because Christian missionaries came in and introduced stuff like anti-sodomy laws and, you know, all this gross stuff, imposed their beliefs of Christianity. God praise the Lord, right? Let's fucking brutalize everybody. Because the European Christians came in and took a dump on everybody, these people who used to be valued in Hindu culture and respected and revered and played traditional roles in the culture are now cast aside and are viewed with contempt by the majority of people. And a lot of the times they go live by themselves in their own communities. Why am I doing this? Maybe that's just the energy of them. Which is so funny because the West heavily relies on this idea that we are the only group in the world that's accepting of gay people and queer people and trans people. Like, we are the only ones. Everyone else... But like, we're the reason that those people aren't respected anymore. The same goes for Hawaii with the Mahu. The Mahu are known as like the sunset. They marry at the night and the day. They are in between. Gender in Hawaii pre-colonization, from what I've read, was not a binary concept. And the Mahu were healers and practitioners and revered and respected. They would name children, they would watch children, how that has flipped in the public conscious, trans people watching children anyway. It makes me so upset and it's so confusing to me. This is why it's so funny when people are like, people were really upset in 2016. 2016 was when everybody was going crazy over like there's more than two genders, right? That was like a hot topic in 2016. People would get mad. People would get really mad when people started talking about that because it threatened their worldview and their understanding of the world. Because that's kind of what gender is. Gender is kind of the role you play in the world and the role other people play in the world. You know, you're a woman, you cook, you clean, you look beautiful, you're a man, you lift things, you know, throw wood over there and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, what is it with like men and like wood? That's why people got really mad at that, because it threatened I feel so like, okay, why am I all over the place? I feel like a president. Hello, everybody. People got really, people got really upset when we started saying there's more than two genders, but I think that is like the wrong approach. There's more than two genders. I think that's the wrong approach. I think that we should have a much more anarchist take on gender. Maybe this is too much for you guys. I'm sorry if I'm too smart for you. I think that we need to approach gender from a place of like, this really isn't working. And we really need to move away from it and kind of start doing something else. I don't think infiltrating gender and kind of restructuring it to include people like me, I don't think that that is the way to find acceptance in society and live your life the way that you want to. When I ask myself, why do we have a approach to gender that is focused on expanding it rather than fully moving away from it. The first place my mind goes when I ask myself that is people are concerned with practicality. Everything is about practicality and how it functions in day-to-day life. And it is seemingly more practical to reframe something that we already have rather than just completely demolish it and do something else. But I don't think it's more practical, and I think it's stupid. I really don't like there's more than two genders. Not because I disagree with the philosophy and the sentiment. I very much very much agree with the philosophy and the sentiment. The approach is faulty because we are trying to make space for people in something that was designed to never include those people ever. That's why the logic is so faulty, and there's so many gaps and people start falling over their words. It's not because human nature is incongruent with gender nonconformity and queerness. It's because our current system is incongruent with that, and we're trying to reframe it to include this, and it's just really not working. It's actually my experience that a lot of cisgender straight people, namely girls, I'm sure men feel this way too, but women are more encouraged to talk about their emotions and think about things like gender more critically than men are, but it's my experience that a lot of cisgender people are kind of on the same board with the idea that gender is fake and we don't really need it, and we don't really need to do all that. I can't tell you how many girl friends that I've had in high school and middle school who don't understand why gender functions the way that it does in our current life. Honestly, a lot of TERFs. You ever looked at a TERF? You ever seen like a real nasty TERF? Like, bitch, you look they them as hell, honey. Like, a lot of people who you'd think would really oppose gender discussions actually agree with the fact that the way that we have gender currently set up isn't really working. But we tend to think of it as like gender roles, right? Society constructed gender roles, man blue, woman pink, and people tend to disagree with that, and they say like, I don't have to wear pink because I'm a girl. But I think the more developed, I think when you follow that thought to the end of it, it is the way we have set up gender is deeply flawed. I don't think that girls don't have to wear pink. I don't think that's like the end of it. I think that's the tip of the iceberg. And when you follow the rest of that logic, it gets to, we don't need gender. And girls who have like really thought about it, like people who are thinkers up here, you know what I mean? That is the understanding they have of, I don't want to wear pink even though I'm a girl. Or why can't a boy wear a dress? That's not like the full thought, I don't think. I think like the full thought of like, I want to wear a dress and I'm a boy isn't reframing what it means to be a man. There's a lot of that. I don't think it's that. I think the end of it is we need to do away with gender as a society. There's a lot of, well, what does it mean to be a man? You know what I mean? And we can't even like say what it means to be a man because it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, and it's not even, there's a very important distinction. It's not about gender, how we constructed it in society, gender roles, man do this. It is how we have constructed gender as a larger concept in society. I think we need to critically look at gender, and we need to say, you know what? This really is not the tea, you guys. This is really just not happening because it's just not, and I just don't like it, and I just have never felt like it was the vibe. Let's talk about expansive language, because we've talked a little bit about how queer people are very invested in like going into gender and reframing it. And a part of that is expansive language. If we want to include everybody, we have to have the labels for everybody. And I really don't like expansive language. I really don't like sharing our pronouns. I used to. Don't get me wrong. Back when I was 16, honey, can we share our pronouns? You know that was me, okay? So I'm coming at this from a place of having been her, them. I think expansive language is tricky and a bit of a paradigm because I think expansive language is minimal language. I think gender non-conforming. There you go. That's everybody. You know what I mean? That includes more people than a million labels ever could. I really don't like all these labels. All these different things. I say that I'm gender fluid because I just think that's, you know, an accurate descriptor of the way I experience gender. And everybody has the right to use the language they see fit of how they want to describe their gender to people. I'm not trying to like take anybody's rights away from anything. I'm not like going to your landlord and telling him to kick you out because you identify as genderqueer. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying I feel like expansive language should be minimal language. Here is like a logic gap that I don't understand. And a lot of you guys are gonna get really upset with me. And I'm not even saying anything wrong, but this is also what I don't like about like conversations on the left, is that like I just feel like people are just like so quick to just like impose all this stuff onto you that you never agreed with. We are in agreement that there's a difference between your sex and your gender experience. We understand that your gender identity does not necessarily correspond with the sex that you were assigned at birth. We understand this. We understand that sex is real. We understand biology is real. This is something trans people are saying all the time. You always hear trans people be like upset, rightfully so, that conservatives believe trans people just have no idea how biology works. Of course, everybody is acutely aware of how biology works. So we know biological sex is real. Some people say that it's not, but those people, I really don't think that that is helping anybody. We understand that biological sex is real and that there's the two biological sexes. And of course there's intersex people who embody characteristics of both or exist somewhere along the two. But we understand that there's the two sexes. So when we talk about sexual orientation, when we talk about sexuality, why do we need anything more than gay, straight, or bi? And of course asexual, but that's not what I'm talking about. Gay, straight, bi. We understand sexual attraction is sexual, right? Sex, of the sex. Biological sex is a real thing. We're agreement on the fact that that does not correspond to your gender inherently. So what is like the purpose of something like pansexual or polysexual? What is the purpose of that? I understand that pansexual is being attracted to a person rather than their gender. But that's not really like a sexual orientation. Like, I'm gay, right? I like the men, okay? I like my boys. What's up? But I'm not like, oh, I love him because he's a man. That's not what I'm thinking. Of course I'm attracted to the person, not the gender, but I like masculine or, you know, masculine looking people. I don't understand it, and I'm not trying to like invalidate you if you're identified as pansexual or polysexual or anything like that. I clearly do not agree with telling people what to do or how to identify. If you're pansexual, we could still have a great time at a party, you know what I mean? The reason we would still get along, even though I don't understand the logic behind your label, is because it's not about the labels. It's not about the language. It's not about that. It's about who we are. Who we are, who you are, the truth, your truth that you live every day, the truth that I live every day. We see each other, and I'm holding your hands and I love you because it's not about the language. It's not about it's not about that. That is something that I've noticed about this whole conversation. It's become about the language, about the labels, about the pronouns. It is about pronouns. Like, to a certain extent, sharing our pronouns, it's not really to like make everybody feel comfortable. It's to be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's about the language. That's what it's about. Like, nowadays, like post 2016, it's about language and labels and pronouns and this and how do you identify. I don't care I don't fucking give a fuck how you identify. I'm sorry, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Your truth, who you are, that's what matters. And I think if we approached this whole topic from understanding each other rather than like, you didn't say that I'm whatever. I think that we would have a lot less of an issue with like invalidating people. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about invalidating. Why are we so caught up in you invalidated me? Who gave me the permission or the power to invalidate you? Why are you giving me that? Why are you letting me do that? If I sat here and I said the most vile, fucked up, transphobic, stupid, homophobic shit you've ever heard in your life, if I was Blair White, honey, sitting here, honey, with the hair. I don't think that about Blair White, but a lot of people do. Anyway, if I was saying the most terrible stuff, how would that be invalidating you? Why are you giving somebody that permission to invalidate you? I never understood this. Well, I kind of used to, I want to remind you of some very famous words spoken by a beloved prophet. Unless they pay in yo bills, pay them bitches no mind. No mind. No bars. Who cares if somebody invalidated you? Who cares? Why do you care? Why do you care? Why? Did your landlord invalidate you? Did the bank invalidate you at the grocery store, honey? Did the bank call and invalidate you? Did the card get declined? Are the funds invalidating you? No? You're good. I understand like feeling disrespected, feeling upset, clapping back. I clap back. Yes, I'm scratching my butt. I clap, it's clean, honey. Can you say the same? I clap back all the time. I understand. But why are we so upset when somebody invalidates us? And I'm gonna offer maybe something you guys aren't really gonna wanna hear. You know, sometimes people say things we don't wanna hear, and that's okay. Sometimes, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Sometimes we get really upset when somebody invalidates something in us because the thing that they're invalidating is in fact invalid. It's not that not everybody is valid, it's that you, especially if you're young, and I've been here, you know, I'm 19, so I, you know, understand. We go through phases in our lives, and we go through what we want to be called, and we go through different things. Sometimes somebody invalidates you, and if it's not like I'm not talking about like somebody trying to bully you, I'm just talking about like somebody saying something in passing that they didn't even mean anything by, that you feel invalidated by. It might be because you are having to come to terms with the fact that kind of what they're saying is like, you kind of, if you feel invalidated, and that's making you really emotional, investigate. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you are not transgender, I'm not saying that you are not non-binary, I'm not saying that you are not anything. I'm not invalidating you. I'm just saying if somebody said something and it really is messing with you, it's really making you feel like you have been invalidated, that's a signal of some emotional work we have to do, right? That is not a signal of that we need to make everybody stop and figure out how to not make people feel invalid. Do you know what I'm saying? I think we need to just take so much weight off the language. Nobody is thinking about your pronouns. I'm sorry. Nobody's thinking about it. Like, and that's not to say, you guys, I am so scared of what you guys are gonna say, but I honestly don't care because you're watching the video. And I love you. And you're still my friend. But get to the bottom. If somebody says something and it really upsets you, get to the bottom of it, because that's how you're gonna take your power back. I don't believe in anybody feeling small. If I made you feel small, I'm sorry, I don't want to. I'm really just having kind of like a lofty conversation about, like, this is honestly me. I've been here. That's why I'm saying this, because I've been the person who felt invalidated and got really upset because what was being invalidated was in fact not valid. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel good in your skin. And if what's gonna make you do that is using all different kinds of labels and neo-pronouns and everything, then that's what you need to do. And you need to live your truth, and I support people living their truth. You know who you are better than I know who I am. I literally don't even know who you are. Like, let's think about that for a second. Like, how can I invalidate you? I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? You know who you are. You've been you your whole life. We hit a lot of surface. Let's kind of sum up my thoughts, right? I don't think we need to infiltrate gender and kind of reframe it. I think we need to divest from it. I think minimal language is expansive language done effectively. I don't think anybody has the power to invalidate you unless you let them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a feeling I lost a couple subscribers, and you know what? That's okay, because some people are not ready for these conversations, and that's fine. If you're not ready for these conversations, that is fine. I just want to reiterate that I agree with people living their truth. And I love when I see somebody being who they are and who they need to be. And I love when I see somebody step outside and I can just feel that they are living their truth. That is what makes me light up. That is what makes me happy. That is what I wake up every day. That is what I wake up every day and do. That's what I mean to say. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go to a party with my roommate in some juicy couture. I hope you guys have a fabulous night. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you love life and appreciate the people closest to you. If you have a cat, give it a hug. I have a cat right here. I love you guys.